Kick towards half forward. Numbers there for both sides. Things starting to go Richmond's way.
G'day, I'm Marc Dragicevic and welcome to this week's edition of Tigerland on Fox Footy. Tigerland is where you'll find out what's going on around the club and get all the information on the players and coaches every Wednesday night. Well, the boys had the bye on the weekend to freshen up for the second half of the season, which now gives us a chance to take a look at the pick of the highlights for season 2002.
Waiting behind a half chance, claiming the mark was Rogers, not paid. Campbell runs on, kicks towards the kickoff. Wow! Zantuck! Something out of nothing.
Zantuck there, he took the punt, didn't he? And he just decided, well, this is no set kick. And yeah, he just helps it in the direction.
Down towards half forward.
Oh, no.
Nice kick. Holland, Hilton, 60 metres out. Roden set a task. He'll be back first. Knights is there, tries to knock it to Roden. Deep in the pocket. What can he conjure here? He pulls it back. They kick 4 straight. Lovely.
This is what they will do. They'll try and switch play, and they've done it successfully.
They do it, and they find Otten. So inside 50 they go, looking for a mark from Hall. The sit was wide. Did he take it? No. Cracker comes through beautifully. Hands off. Hilton along the ground. It'll bounce. Bounce through for a goal. That's a first for the Tigers.
Under no pressure. Zantuck comes away from half back. Finds Houlihan.
They're away here.
It's been a handy pick up from the Cats. Chaffee wins a lot of the ball, can use it. Great kick and finds Roden, who steps around, finds himself on his non-preferred side, gathers pace and kicks a goal.
Andy Callaway needs to get on with it quickly. Uses Rogers, who kicks out wide. Zantuck. Loose player, centre-half forward. Cameron likes to kick it long. Drills it into the pocket. Andrew Cracker amongst the couple. Header for a chance. Left foot snap is clever. The pressure. Is it getting to the Swans? Clinton King. As Otten Short ignores that. Target up towards full foot almost. Campbell. Cracker in the pocket. Clever. He kicked a goal. Sensational play from Andrew Cracker. You won't see a better goal than that.
Campbell threw it nearly to Knights. Flicked it out. Zilla with time. Will go in long. They need a mark. Vardy, Ottens couldn't mark it. Cracker at ground level. 2-1. You're in trouble. Cracker should kick the goal. And he does. He does. That's their second. It lands in the square. Knocked down. Ottens will go at it. Fletcher did well. Should have got a free. Roden. This will be great. It is. He's kicked a goal from nothing.
Low. Left fist. Tivendale. Clever kick in the end. Put it to the advantage of Rogers. It goes over his head. He turns around and marks, grabs it, and kicks a ripper on a goal. Oh, terrific work. Great presence of mind by Matthew Rogers.
Richmond 6-3, the Western Bulldogs. Joel Bowden has again lifted his work in this quarter. He's had 11 possessions for the day. Wayne Campbell has been great with 18. Clinton King's had the job on Scotty West today, and that's an important job too. A flying shot for goal.
The second goal for the Tigers. Rucks go at it. Burton hooked it down behind Stafford, did well. Slipped it away to Knights. Kicks inside the 50. Again, this back line under pressure. Cracker deep in the pocket. What can he conjure? Magnificent. Oh, unbelievable.
They're not accidents.
Not at all.
So some fantastic highlights there, with the likes of Davey Roden and Andy Cracker giving Tiger fans a little taste of what's going to come over the next few years. Well, time now for a special feature on Tigerland, our mid-season report with Coach Danny Frawley.
Yeah, well, after our good Wizard Cup and our first game of the year, things looked fairly promising, but unfortunately since then we've been very spasmodic. I think our consistency in performance has been the big area for concern. We had to have a number of injuries to impact players, which has upset us a little bit, but a lot of sides have had injuries, as you see, throughout the first 11 games. So I see it one of maybe giving us a good jolt, as well as some youngsters coming through, but in saying that, performances have been very substandard, so we're not shying away from that. All we can do is look at the positives and know that the second half of the season, if we play anywhere near like the last 2 weeks, even though we didn't win, that's all people want, is a consistent performance, and we haven't had that in the first 11 weeks, which has been something we can hold our hat on over the last 2.5 years, but the first 11 games this year have been very disappointing. Our attack is probably an area of concern. The youngsters coming through have really been doing the job, even though they're still 2 or 3 years off playing anywhere near their best. But in saying that, Dave Roden's been a revelation down there. Andy Cracker's really come on. Adam Houlihan's played, his best game for the club last week, so hopefully he can really turn it on. And obviously having Matty out for 8 of the 11 games has really hurt our forward line, and Brad being over the shoulder of the ruck with Greg Stafford and Ray Hall out has meant we've been fairly depleted in that area. So that's been an area that we've really talked about as a group, and hopefully the personnel will get just about ready to full strength. Even a guy like Rory Hilton, who probably won't play again this year, as a guy that can go forward and kick a goal. So we have been depleted somewhat in those stocks, but our youngsters are really stepping up to the plate, which is promising. Yeah, I think it's stood up well under pressure. I think our midfield does cop a lot from other areas. But you have a look at our midfield on paper, I think they're playing just about near their capacity. We've had a couple of guys down at certain times, but led by our skipper Wayne Campbell and Joel Bowden, they're two very good players for us, and they've been very consistent. So we just need a few youngsters to step up in that area. Marc Coughlin hasn't been given much of a go in there, and Dave Roden at this stage is still a forward, but we'd like to get him into the midfield pretty quickly. And also guys like Kane Pettifer, I talked about in the forward line, they're going to have to develop into midfielders too. So Aaron Fiora and a few of these guys probably haven't stepped up as quickly as we'd like, as in our forwards. So we really need those guys to step up. Defence has held up fairly well, but I suppose if you look at the one common denominator there that's missing is Ben Holland. And you look at our back line, we're fairly solid, but we're not a big-bodied back line. With Ben down there we are, and he's been a player we've sorely missed down there with his height and his attack on the ball and his leadership. So that's something we've all sort of found we've plugged a couple of holes with. But in saying that, Ty Zantuck I think's really come on in the back half. Jason Tawney's had a pretty consistent year, and Mark Chaffee's come back from osteopubis and played really well. I think Darren's getting back to the form we've seen of the last 2 years, and Andy Kellaway as well. So we're looking at those guys to really set up our style of play. And Leon Cameron had a bit of a slow start to the year, really did find his form again, and then unfortunately hurt his calf. So hopefully he can be back at this week as well against Port. I suppose people take the press conferences into context, but I was really disappointed. I think you can be both, and I think that's what didn't get translated into the media. I was disappointed with the loss, but I was excited with what I saw out there. So you can be both. And a lot of people sort of take the excited just for the fact that we got beat. Whereas, and me as a coach, as disappointed as anyone that we need 4 points desperately. So, but in saying that, I thought the performances of most of our guys, and with getting another couple of players back after the break, if we can get anywhere near that form again, we're going to win a hell of a lot more games than we lose. So I'm not sure whether we'll make the 8, but we'll give it a good try and shaping it if we can. And all we can do is go over to Port, which is probably the hardest task in league football now, to go over there and expect to win. And we're going over there to try to win and see how we go. And if performances have been anywhere near the last couple of weeks and we can convert a little bit better, the scoreboard will look after itself. Just the consistency of effort. I think, our last 5 weeks we'd won 2 and the St Kilda game was really disappointing. And to fall away like that in one game, whilst their performance was good and they won the game, is unacceptable. And we've all talked about that. So we've just got to make sure our performances are somewhere near 100% week in, week out. And as I said, you'll win more games than you lose. We haven't got many more chances to really step up and give the final 8 a shake, so we know we're up against it. But in saying that, we want to try and play the style of play that we know we can, and our last 2 weeks of our style has been terrific, other than the last 30 metres and the last kick towards goal. So we just need to improve in that area, and we'll win more than we lose.
Time now to get up to date with everything that's happening around the club with our Tigerland bulletin board.
The Richmond Football Club Carlton Draft Auction, Saturday, July 6 at Moonee Valley Racecourse. Some fantastic items on offer, such as a trip to London for the end-of-season game for you and a mate. Crown Gold Class movie night on offer. Get your best 11 ready to take on Flea and the boys in some cricket at Punt Road Oval. For bookings, contact Miles Rose on 039 664 0400 for a fantastic night, the Richmond Football Club Carlton Draft Auction. There are 50,000 extra reasons why you need to be at the MCG on Saturday, June 29, when the Tigers take on Geelong. One lucky fan that day will have the chance to walk away from the G $50,000 richer. To be eligible to win, all you have to do is pick up an entry form from any premium Melbourne Connex train station before midnight on Friday, June 28. Fill it in, make sure you bring it to the Richmond-Geelong match. Then at the ground, you need to drop it in one of the many marked entry barrels. During quarter time, the winning entrant will be displayed on the big screen. If you're the lucky winner, you'll get to choose one of 100 envelopes. 99 of them will tell you that you've won $3,000, while one of them will tell you that you've collected a cool $50,000. So get on down to a premium Connex train station, and who knows, a Tiger win mightn't be the only thing you're celebrating that night.
I'm joined now by the big man down the forward line, Richo. How are you, mate?
Good, thanks, Draggy. Yourself?
Good, thanks, mate. Thanks for joining us here. Week off, did you get to have a break, or were you still training, getting the body right?
Well, unfortunately, mate, I didn't get the break. You know what it's like in rehab. We just never stopped. So, yeah, I trained all last week and had the weekend off, though, so just took it pretty easy and hoping to get back out there this week.
So you'll be right for this week. How is the body?
Yeah, I've completed all the necessary requirements of rehab, so I'm back in the main group tonight, mate, and hopefully we can get through everything.
How's it been, mate? As I know, it can be quite frustrating sitting in the stands. How's it been for you this time around?
Yeah, pretty frustrating, Dragon. You know, we've been doing plenty of swimming and all that sort of work, and, you know, you'd rather be out there playing and training with the boys, obviously, so, yeah, about sick of it, so glad to be back out there this week.
Well, halfway through the year now, we're 4-7. Has the team got together, reset goals or anything like that?
Yeah, we went down to Sorrento last Monday and, you know, had a bit of a chat and a bit of a training run, and, you know, the boys are still pretty positive. We realise that, you know, anyone can get on a roll, and if we can win 3 or 4 in a row, you're right back in amongst it.
Beautifully done, mate. Thanks for joining us here in Tigerland. Good luck this week. Get out there.
You're a real pro, Dragger.
Thanks, mate. That just about wraps up this week's edition of Tigerland. Thanks for joining us. Well, it's off to Football Park this week for the Mighty Tigers in a crucial game against Port on Sunday afternoon. If you can't get along and support us, don't worry. You can catch all the action right here on
10 police powers to serve.